Sawadee and welcome to another episode here for the Funky Pod, Mindful Media and Communication. And hey, don't worry, this week, no end of the world talk, no strange island list talks, not even aliens in Miami talk or anything like that. I think we covered it last week anyways. This week, I'm going to talk sports. Because I did it once before. I like sport, as you know, probably if you follow the podcast, you might like sports too, and that's why you clicked on this episode. So let's talk sports, okay? I promise end of the world again next week, but for now, sports is not the end of the world. I hope for some it is, but it shouldn't be. So today we're talking sports. We're talking media and sports. In particular, we're talking about examples of the NBA and football. Soccer, that hurts to say, in regards to trades, because the trade deadline is coming close in the NBA. Lots of football leagues just came back after the Christmas/New Year/winter break. Even those like the Premier League who play through it had a trade deadline. So let's talk about the media and the media's influence on trades and how players utilize the media, how clubs utilize the media, and what other players do we have in there? Okay, so here it goes. Let's talk about media when it comes to trades in professional sports. So we're trying to peel back the curtain a little bit to see like why do certain people say certain things and how do they know and so on. Okay, so we're delving into the world of sports. And again, in particular, NBA and football, the one where you kick the ball, and where it's actually a ball, because it's just like very current when it comes to trades, okay? Let's jump into it. Gonna jump into the NBA first, because, well, I wanted to start with a rhetorical question, but I know the answer. You've seen it before, right? A star player making like a casual comment that then sparks a media frenzy. We've just seen it a few days ago when Steph Curry. I forgot the quote. Now that I pressed record, I forgot the quote. But he said something. He didn't say we need to change something now, but it was very LeBron-esque, like saying, yeah, it's not working right now, so something needs to change, or something along those lines. Like a little bit passive-aggressive, not too aggressive, but like, oh, Steph Curry said something. All right, so that's the framing theory, okay? Like when it comes to the framing theory in media and communication, like every word is like a brush stroke of a large big picture, Bob Ross style, okay? And it's like decoding like a teenager's text message, right? Like a player's like, I'm just here to play can really mean like, just get me out of here. It's an art form, okay? And the athletes in this case are like Picasso's in sneakers, or Aristotle in sneakers, if you think back to Shaq, of course, okay? And this is not only the case in the NBA though, of course, right? It's the same thing in football. If like a player says, well, I just do what the coach tells me to do and I'm just here to play, like, oh, she's, they're not happy, right? And let's switch gears a little bit, because I think the framing theory is quite easy to understand, right? So you choose the words carefully and, of course, try to frame the way you're perceived in a certain way. So it's all about decoding and encoding, right? So I decode what I want to say in a certain way, and then the receiver, I'm encoding, the receiver decodes obviously in a certain way, right? So if I say I'm just here to play, you know that my heart's not into it and I'm not happy, and maybe something can be done. So if I'm interested in trading you or trading for you, I'm like, oh, did you hear that? Let's give them an offer. Okay, let's talk trades. All right. But again, this doesn't only happen in the NBA. This also happens in professional football, the real football, and the drama in football. If you're not into football, like the drama in football, in trades in football, that can rival any soap opera you've ever watched. Like if you're not into it, just I don't know, give it a try. It's crazy. Like the stories being told about like who goes where and why and who met with whom during the off season and who sent texts to whom, and it's crazy. And this is all about agenda setting theory. Okay, agenda setting, as we discussed before in the podcast, the media doesn't tell us what to think, but what to think about. So rumors about a player wanting a transfer, they're not just like idle gossip. They're like chess moves and like this high stakes chess game, okay? It's like subliminal messaging, but for multi-million euro deals, of course. And I'm using euros right now because A, I'm from Europe, and B, football is a very European or South American thing, but definitely not an American thing. So that's why I'm using euros. Okay, and I pay in euros. And yeah, so if like a player's like desire to leave a club is being leaked, that's probably not a coincidence. Okay. If like, I mean, now we've seen some interesting trades in football, like okay, I have to throw it in because it's just so funny. Jadon Sancho from Manchester United, who left Borussia Dortmund in Germany to join Manchester United for, I think, like 89 million euros or something like that, like a few years ago. Now hasn't played with Manchester. Apparently doesn't fit the system, or it's like has issues with his professional, approach to football or whatever, according to Manchester United sources, people there. So now Dortmund got him back on a loan deal, and first game back he assists Marco Reus for a goal. So maybe it's the team. Okay, but we're not here to discuss like current games. It's just when it got leaked that maybe Sancho wants out from Manchester. Maybe Manchester is okay with loaning him. That's not a coincidence. It's like, oh, wait, maybe we can get him back because he played so well for us before we sold him. Yeah, so that's all on purpose, of course. But it's not just the teams and the players, okay? It's also about you, about the fans. That's like where we have a theory called two-step flow theory. Okay, this comes into play here. And the media influences like key opinion leaders. Okay, that's a very marketing term if you're not familiar with it. KOL, key opinion leaders. And those KOLs, key opinion leaders, in return, they influence us, the mass, okay? It's like that one friend who tells you about a trend and suddenly it's like everywhere. In the world of sports, when like influential like pundits and personalities, for example, speak, that ripple effect can turn like a whisper into like this huge tidal wave, okay? More on this in more detail also in a second. But before we go into like the pundits and everything, I wanted to quickly also talk about something else, because I think this theory is not being talked about enough in the media. And I talked about it in the last podcast actually, but I just want to talk about it in this setting as well because I think it's so important. Yeah, the spiral of silence theory. Because you might have noticed that like certain topics just sometimes seem to disappear. Yeah, and that's the spiral of silence. Like when a narrative becomes like dominant, opposing voices, they start to quiet down. It's like being like you're at a dinner party where everyone agrees on like a topic and you're left nodding along because you don't want to rock the boat. You're like, sure. And that's of course not only in sports, trades, it's like in everything that you discuss, obviously, right? But this of course also happens when we, the fans, discuss certain things. You're like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. He's the GOAT. LeBron's the GOAT. Yeah, sure. MJ's the GOAT. Sure, yeah. 39 years, it's awesome. He plays so well right now. So many turnovers. He's the best. Yeah, never goes back to defense. He's fantastic. Yeah. So that's the spiral of silent theory. Okay. Now that we wrapping up like the theories we should be familiar with, because I mentioned them before, I want to add the cultivation theory into the mix as well, also last episode, because like over time, of course, as you know, the media shapes our perceptions, right? And when it comes to sports, this means that a team always seen in trade rumors becomes the in NBA terms, like the forever rebuilding team. Like, and the player, like frequently in the news for potential trades, becomes the journeyman, right? It's like typecasting, but like in sports jerseys, of course, right? And so if you see this over and over and over again, you just have a certain image of a player in your head, right? Kevin Durant, for example, in the NBA, James Harden, like, oh, they're always requesting great trades all the time. Of course, right now, when Phoenix is not playing well, of course, Kevin Durant isn't happy there again and is on his burner accounts again, right? So that's the cultivation theory, because we cultivate that narrative about certain teams, about certain players, and so on. Okay, same thing in football, right? Oh, this guy always dives. He always flops. He's overacting. Right? That's cultivation theory, and if you repeat it over and over and over again, then the mass will agree on it. And this, of course, also affects the trades, right? You're like, okay, he's not happy there. He wants to get traded. That team gives up on players easily. They're gonna trade for someone else again. They're just trying so many things all the time. Okay, so that's how the cultivation theory also influences like sports, media, and in this case also trades. And in addition, we can also not forget about like one of the OGs when it comes to media theories, which is the users and gratification theory. Yeah, we as audience, we choose media based on our needs, whether for information, entertainment, social interaction, and so on. So following those trade rumors isn't just like a pastime. It fulfills our desire to feel connected, to be like in the know, to be like part of it, and sometimes to confirm our biases as well. Of course, it's like choosing like a movie genre where we pick the narrative that suits our current mood and interest the most. Right? You're like, hey, this resonates with me right now, so that's why I follow it. That's why I want to know more about it. I want to be like the professional when it comes to all those things. So those are like all the basic theories we discussed before in several episodes here on the channel. Now just all like brought together in this sports media realm, okay? Now I did mention earlier I want to go into a bit more details with a certain aspect of what we discussed. And it was like when I talked about the two-step flow theory and the pundits, right? So let's pivot a little bit more into like this two-step flow, the pundit side of things. Because for me, that's a very fascinating aspect of the sports world, okay? Like, if you're talking NBA, like, did you ever wonder, like, how figures like Adrian Wojnarowski, for example, like, who you might know as Woj, right? And Stephen A. become, like, go-to sources, like, for the biggest scoops in, like, in this case, basketball, also other sports, but in this case, in basketball, right? And you might say, oh, no, even champs, of course, right? The latest addition to that fold, if you will. And the thing is, it's not just about being in the right place at the right time. Yeah, these journalists, they are kind of journalists, have cultivated like a network of like deep sources over years and years and years and years. It's like they have this VIP pass to behind the scenes action. Okay, and when Woj drops one of his like Woj bombs, at the NBA world listens like, oh, what is Woj saying now? It's like a blend of credibility theory and then also information cascades, right? Kind of like blending together, right? So those journalists, they are seen as credible due to their track record, and once they speak, the information cascades through the media ecosystem, shaping like perception and maybe even the market itself, right? If Woj says something, you're like, he must know something. He's never wrong. But yeah, that's the perception, right? Okay, so when they say something, it carries value. But why them, right? But why are Woj and Stephen A. and not just picking famous examples, but why are they the ones breaking the news or getting the high-profile guests in Stephen A.'s case and so on? And it all builds or boils down to trust and relationship, in my opinion. Yeah, they've spent years building trust, not just with their audience, but with players, with agents, team execs, and the like. Yeah, they're like the best friend that everyone tells their secrets to because they know they won't be judged, or at least not publicly. And I mean, if you talk to Stephen A., you know, unless you say, Stephen A., please do not say that under any circumstances, it's gonna end up on air. If you talk with Vogue, if he thinks it's interesting, it's gonna end up on Twitter or then on Sports Center, right? And again, just using those two examples right now because they are so famous. There are more. Like, I mean, in the NBA, it's champs, and in football, there are, of course, different players in this regard. I mean, journalists as the players right now. But you've got those personalities everywhere, right? And their influence, right? Their influence is also like a testament to what I said earlier, to the agenda-setting theory. Yeah, what they choose to report and how they report it can set a tone for like discussions across the whole sports media. I mean, Stephen A. gives his take on like a player's performance or like a potential trade. It resonates. It's not just his opinion, it's an informed perspective that carries weight due to his stature in the sports media world. And when Vogue says, oh, trade rumors, you're like, oh, okay, something must be going on. And the thing is, yeah, they decide what to talk about. And that's also something that Vogue has been criticized for, like over the years, that sometimes he doesn't talk about certain teams and players, for example, and like, well, why the guy who knows everything is not talking about this or that person, or how they're talking about those people, right? So it's their agenda. And in addition to agenda setting, there's also some power dynamics at play. Okay, like access journalism plays like a huge role here. Okay, that's not to be understated. So those journalists, they get scoops because they have access that others don't. But of course, this access comes with like its own set of unspoken rules, right? Oh, why would I give you access if you just blab everything out? So it's like a delicate like dance of like give and take. So provide a platform, get a scoop. It's like a kind of like a symbiotic relationship where both parties benefit. But that's why it's so important for us as an audience to understand that. Like all those scoops don't end up with Stephen A, with Vogue, with champs and so on by coincidence. It's like they've been sent to them, shared with them on purpose. Okay? So next time you see a Vogue bomb or you hear Stephen A's like hot take on latest trade rumors and Big Perk yelling at people or just shaking his head, like you gotta remember those intricate webs of relationships. You know, you have like relationships, you have the credibility that those people work on, of course. You have the media dynamics I just mentioned, like behind each and every tidbit of information. Like in the world of sports media, it's not just about reporting news. It's about weaving those different narratives, building brands, and of course being the first to tell some stories, right? So the journalists aren't just reporters, they're storytellers and influencers and, well, key opinion leaders, key players in the sports world. So yeah, I just hope that I can paint a picture that visualizes or that highlights like how all those different theories are related and lead to, for example, Stephen A, Vogue, and so on, being influential factors when it comes to sports media. And that we should be aware of that. It's not that it's like terrible, because we want those scoops. So of course, build your relationships and so on. Yeah, but we need to be aware that like there's a reason why they have this information. Okay. So as we're nearing like the end of today's episode, let's take a quick moment to reflect on everything that we've covered, because I think it was quite a lot actually. And I was talking very fast because I'm just so into the whole sports media thing. Okay. So from the subtle art of media framing, like in player trades, to the influential role of top-tier sports journalists, it's clear that the role of like professional sports is as much about strategic communication as it's about athletic prowess, obviously, right? So every athlete also needs to know, like, what do I share with Vogue? What do I share with Stephen A? What do I share with Fabrizio Romano in the football world, for example, right? So what do I share with those people? What don't? How do I frame things? How do I communicate things? What kind of tweet do I send? Still called tweet, actually. Like, now, what kind of IG reel do I upload? Ideally, none with a gun in your hands. So what do I communicate? How do I communicate it? So think about it. And next time the major trade happens, or like this one last time, vote bomb drops. There's a whole backstory, a network of relationships, a dance of trust, information, and the strategic play of words. Like, what do I say? How do I say it? Which narrative am I fueling? Is all part of the play. It's like a game within a game, if you will, and it's endlessly fascinating, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. And if you want to talk more about it, I'll be very, very, very happy to do so, because I think, as I said, I find this incredibly interesting, fascinating to talk about. So, yeah, this brings me to the end of today's episode. So we journeyed through like this intricate interplay of media, sports, exploring how like narratives are shaped, how information is strategically released, and how certain voices become the definitive source of truth in the sports world. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, of course, to leave your opinion as well. Like, who do you follow? Who do you trust? Who do you believe? Why do you believe Champs, Woj, Stephen A, whoever? Why are you on the side of Pat McAfee? That should be a different episode, the whole Pat McAfee thing. So let me know. Who's your go-to source in the football world? Right? Shout out in the comments, social media at funkitpod, email is funkitpod@gmail.com. Leave some reviews, that would be very nice. That's very helpful to reach a wider audience. Until then, take care, stay safe, play some sports, and we talk soon. Saudi Cup.